Welcome to Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. Welcome to another edition of Sideline Sports Podcast. I am the host, Alex Naveja, and if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast. And with me today is former long snapper for Santa Ana College, and of course, my cousin, Hector Aguayo. Hector, how you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you. What have you been up to lately?
How's it going, Alex? It's been a while. We're just hanging on right now with all this coronavirus and the quarantine thing, trying to find a way to get a lift in or, try to do something fun to entertain ourselves while we stay locked in. But yeah, how you been?
I've been really good, Hector. I wish I could be lifting weights and exercising just like you are. I see a lot of your workout regimens that you have going on with doing your squats yesterday like you sent me, and really you were even getting creative with doing pull-ups from the roof of your apartment.
Yeah, when I don't have the opportunity to go over to Tarupa Valley, that's where my buddy Cole lives. He has a full gym set up in his garage. So when I don't get the chance to drive up there because of work or I have other things to do, I just get creative and just start doing things around the house. Like you said, I started on top of the roof of my house, and it worked. There's a will, there's a way. I'm a firm believer in that.
Make that two of us, Hector. But this episode of Sideline Sports Podcast was brought to you by Lean Mean Meals. Make sure to get your meal prep done with Mitch Dominguez today. He has you with your breakfast, your lunch, and even with your dinner. He even has detox juices along with cold brew coffee. Make sure to use my promo code SIDELINE10 to save yourself 10% off on all of your orders. I'll make sure to put his website down in the description below. But without further ado, let's get things started, Hector. As last week, there were already JT Daniels, USC quarterback, is going over to the transfer portal. Now, as far as his knee injuries that he suffered last year, that was a season-ending knee surgery, and the freshman of the year, Kedon Slovis, would end up replacing him and would end up throwing 3,500 yards last year and 30 touchdowns. Now, Hector, what are your impressions on JT Daniels going over to the transfer portal?
Once I heard he was going to transfer out, the first thought that came to my head was this kid's afraid to compete. And that's a lot. That happens a lot nowadays. Super normal for kids to kind of tout and complain about not starting, so they just do the, I'm just going to transfer schools. And that's where I think the NCAA is wrong, when they're allowing these kids just to up and leave. There are times where it's necessary to, transfer out. But with him just walking out because, don't get me wrong, Kedon Slovis had a great season. And that's tough to beat, He kind of gave Kedon the keys to the program right there just by saying, I'm just going to transfer. He didn't really think about competing or trying to win the starting spot. He just said, I'm just going to take my talent elsewhere. So I was disappointed. I would have loved a nice QB competition over at USC. But you know what? We have King Slovis, and we're going to stick with King Slovis, and he's going to do a lot of big things for us. So I'm not really worried about JT anymore. It's just a soft move.
And they were already even talking about it in the summer programs where it was going to be a QB battle between Slovis and Daniels, and it was going to be something that was going to be worth looking into and worth all of our while to see these two really battle it out. And you're absolutely right, Hector. Daniels just handed it over to Slovis and said, here, USC football, you're in charge of it now. It's all yours. But there's even headlines going around that potentially Washington could be the landing spot for him.
I haven't really heard about any schools showing interest in Daniels right now. I've been trying to keep up as much as I can. Or any big schools. To me, I don't know where he's going to land. He's definitely going to stay in the Pac-12 for sure. Or he might go, a Big West or somewhere else around there. But I don't see him going to a Big 12. I don't see him going Big 10. Definitely not SEC. For sure not going down there. So he's definitely going to stay around our area. And we will be seeing him probably, this upcoming season against some small Pac-12 school.
You don't think he'd go to UCLA, do you? Do you imagine him seeing them in the baby blue and the gold?
UCLA for him, I don't know if he would fit in that, in Chip Kelly's scheme. I don't know if he's meant for it. But you never know. I could be wrong. Again, I haven't really been seeing anything, so we never know if he's going to be with UCLA or, like you said, Washington. You might end up going to Oregon State, somewhere around there. So we're just going to have to wait and see where this kid wants to go.
Mm-hmm. And Clay Helton, really, he's been saying that he's willing to do anything to really help out JT Daniels. He's trying to go above and beyond to help him out. What kind of future do you see JT Daniels having?
I'm just disappointed in the fact that he just decided to up and leave. You never want to see that in an athlete. You never just want to see somebody give up and just walk away. But he has the talent to play D1 football. He has the future in it. I don't see him not playing anymore because of this. He's definitely going to find a school. He's definitely going to find a football team that's going to fit him. And he's going to have a successful future.
Mm-hmm. Now, let's talk a little bit about Kedon Slovis. What kind of future do you think he's going to have? I mean, with, like we mentioned before, 3,500 yards last year, 30 touchdowns that he threw, and to be freshman of the year, big-time accolade for Kedon Slovis. Now, what do you expect from him in his sophomore year?
You know what? I just hope it doesn't get to his head. When people start paying attention to you, it's a lot of pressure. It's not just your program. It's not just your fans. It's the whole nation now. You got people talking about you on ESPN. You got people talking about you on Fox Sports. Your name's everywhere. So as long as it doesn't get to his head, he's going to have a bright future. He's a USC quarterback. It's a big role, so I'm pretty sure he'll be fine with all that pressure. But he just got to have that tunnel vision and finish through his next 2 years and, get us going on to something important.
Mm-hmm. So I'm going to throw you a little bit of a curveball, and let's see what your crystal ball tells me, Hector. Do you see USC going on top of Utah State this year for the Pac-12 South?
Well, we beat them last year, and we didn't really have much. We were struggling last season, and we dominated them. So my thing is, USC has been recruiting really, really good this season. They're doing great. They're finding the right players, and they're also finding the right coaches, They hired a coach from Oregon, and they got a decent coming to USC. So that's, we're making the right moves. We're heading in the right direction from this offseason. We're heading in the right direction in the offseason. Well, they are. So hopefully those key players that committed to USC make a huge impact. Give us a different look, give us a different energy, because that's what we need. We need a different kind of energy. We need to go back to that. We don't care about the Pac-12. It's an easy W for us. We want to go for the national championship. That's what USC needs to go back to. That's what they're meant for. They're not meant to compete for just the Pac-12 or a regular bowl. No, we need to go back to the championship, the big one, the most important one. And they're doing this with the recruiting. So crossing my fingers and hoping these kids pull it off. That's all I can do right now.
So there you have it, guys. Kedon Slovis going to be the official quarterback for USC. But we're actually going to take a quick break here on Sideline Sports Podcast. But when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Rams and the type of offseason that they're having right about now. So we'll be right back after this. And if you're not on the sideline, it's not Sideline Sports Podcast.
This is Hector Aguayo, the long snapper for the Santa Ana Dons, and you're watching Sideline Sports Podcast.
Welcome back to Sideline Sports Podcast, presented by Lean Mean Meals. I'm Alex Namankov, the host, and with me today is former long snapper from Santa Ana College, Hector Aguayo, also known as my cousin. We're talking about the first half about JT Daniels going over to the transfer portal, and now Kedon Slovis being the starting quarterback for USC Trojans. Now, let's move on over to some NFL action with the Rams making some, head-scratching moves right about now, and we bring in Hector Aguayo to talk a little bit about that. What have been your thoughts in these off-season transactions for the Rams?
Man, I don't even know what they're doing. My buddy Matt and I, we talk a lot about these moves because he's a huge Rams fan as well. And we're just like, why are we giving Brandon Cooks for a trade? Why did we release Todd Gurley when he's the face of the franchise? Why are we doing all this stuff? Why did we re-sign a lineman that you released last season? Like, what are you guys planning and what are you guys doing? We released a lot of key players that were just, the fans are kind of, what are we doing? Like, what do you have? What are you going to pull behind out of your butt, back? What's your trick? What do you have coming? You haven't really signed anybody. What are we doing here? Like, we're just confused. We're confused as everybody else because we don't know what Sean McVay and the front office of the Rams are doing. Right now, the fans aren't happy because, for one, they gave us a terrible logo that nobody liked. But to them, it doesn't matter. And it's just kind of confusing to the point where we're the ones that bring you money. We're the ones that go to the games. We're the ones that buy your jerseys, your shirts, your hats. You're nothing without the fans. If the fans don't buy, you don't make money. You don't make money. You don't have enough to play with players. So I don't know what's going on, but I hope they understand and see that their fans aren't happy and make a change. Because I'm telling you right now, we do not like that new logo. We don't like that we let our star running back go. Yeah, he was hurting, but that's the face of the franchise. That's the face of the organization. He was LA. Todd Gurley was LA. Now, with Jared Goff renegotiating his contract and, cutting down to a smaller amount of money, it might open up a little bit more to bring somebody important, somebody that can make a difference in the team.
So some of the transactions to let you guys know. So Brandon Cooks getting traded over to the Houston Texans. The Rams cutting both Todd Gurley and Clay Matthews, just to name a few moves. I know Hector can add a couple more transactions in there. And also, the change of the logo. I know you're not the biggest of fans of that new Rams logo.
Not at all.
I think the Rams logo that they had originally, I think that was the best that you could have done there. Now, there's been a lot of haze throughout Twitter, any social media platform. This has just been a very confusing offseason for the Rams.
Yeah, no, we don't. Us, the fans, hate that logo. And it's kind of disappointing when, everybody, and I mean everybody, is reacting to it negatively. Like, none of the fans on social media, I didn't see not one positive comment about the new logo. Not one. They would post the players showing off their new treads, their hats and shirts. But obviously the players are going to act like they like it because obviously they work for them. They get paid because of them. So they're obviously going to be like, yeah, this is a nice hat. Yeah, this is a nice logo. Love it. Can't wait to wear it, blah, blah, blah. I'm pretty sure they were talking smack on the group chat they have going on, like, this garbage. Whoever made that logo should not have a marketing job or a graphic design job for the NFL or whoever's in charge of that stuff should not be working. Because that, my friend, was complete garbage. That was half-assed. My best friend, Matthew Cifuentes, could have done a way better job. Easily, hands down.
So, with all this change going on with the Rams, what are you predicting for this next coming year? I mean, the Rams did not make it to the playoffs, and even the year before that, they were in the Super Bowl against the New England Patriots, and to have a very close Super Bowl championship. It was a very close Super Bowl, and the very next year to not make it to the playoffs and now to be in this predicament right now for the Rams, doesn't seem like the Rams are really going up right about now. Now it looks like they're trying to go into reconstruction mode and they're trying to get more draft picks.
I think you just said it. I think we're going back into reconstruction mode. And it's going to be a tough couple of seasons, for the next maybe 2 or 3. It's going to be rough. But yeah, we were very disappointed at the fact that we ended up at the Super Bowl 2 years ago. And then last year we just, came up short. You never want that from your team. You never want them to, be one of the teams to beat to one of the teams that's easily beaten. But, I mean, I don't know what Sean McVay's planning. I don't know what their new defensive coordinator's planning. I don't know what their new special teams coordinator's planning. They're obviously in the office talking about this every day. They want to keep their job, so I'm pretty sure they're not going to, do something too ridiculous to the point where they're going to put their jobs at risk. So, as much as I hate all these movements they've been making, I'm pretty sure they have a plan. And I have complete faith in Sean McVay. So I'm pretty sure he's going to pull something nice. And I'm going to be, happy like I was 2 years ago when they were winning. So now I just got to sit back and watch what they do in the draft because they have first two rounds. They got 2 picks for the second round. So we're going to see what we get.
So, very quickly, to readdress all of this confusion, you would really think that the Rams would want to make some big-time transactions as far as big-time additions to the team, especially with the new stadium about to reopen this year. This is going to be the year that the stadium was going to be ready to play in.
Yeah, I mean, the stadium's not really much of our concern. I would have been completely fine with the Rams still playing in the Coliseum because, the Coliseum represents LA. The 2 best teams were playing in the Coliseum, and that's USC and the Rams. When other teams are playing somewhere else, not even in LA. It's nice to have a brand new stadium, but at the end of the day, if we're not winning, it's just going to be another building built in LA for nothing.
Yeah, it would be pretty disappointing right there to have a new stadium and to not be able to win in the new stadium.
Exactly.
So, I have one question to ask you, and I know for those of you that are following me on Twitter, I put up on Twitter if sports should continue with the sports fans, or can sports just start without the fans? Are you okay with sports starting without fans, or are you saying no sports until we can get the fans back?
I guarantee you, I mean, that's a tough question because at the end of the day, the athletes, like LeBron said, it's kind of tough. Because I remember when I was in high school, and it would be like this for them. You're playing your freshman or JV game, and you just have like a couple people in the stands just watching, and it's quiet. You're doing everything. And then you go to Friday night, stadium's full. You got a lot of people in the crowd. You got everyone there cheering you on. So it gives sports a different type of feeling when the stadium's empty compared to when it's full. Like, there's no energy when there's nothing in the crowd. So to be honest, it really should be up to the players whether they want to play or not. If they feel like it's safe enough for them to play, then let them play without the fans. I think that's what it's going to have to come to, sports open back up again. Like, we're not going to be in the stands for a very long time. I don't think we're going to be in the stands until 2021. If they want to play, then we shouldn't be in the stands. We can loudly watch from home. Be a different type of feeling. It's going to feel weird watching a game without people in the stands, no hype, no anything. But I personally think that the players should be making the decisions, not anybody else.
And of course, the All-Star game was supposed to be here in LA for Major League Baseball here at Dodger Stadium, so we may not even see that either. So this pandemic, COVID-19, definitely has played a huge part here in all over the world. Actually, no one's really been able to enjoy sports. We've really been watching reruns. I know you've been watching your reruns, Hector. I have been watching my Dodgers squeeze play and just some old games in MLB Network. But that's all the time we have left here in Sideline Sports Podcast. We thank you all so much for tuning in. And if you guys liked this episode, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you really are enjoying this content, make sure to hit the subscribe button because we're still trying to give it our all as far as bringing in guests and still trying to make the best out of it. And of course, if you're not on the sideline, it's on Sideline Sports Podcast. And this episode was brought to you by Lean Mean Meals. Make sure to get your meal prep done with Ms. Dominguez today. He has you with your breakfast, your lunch, and your dinner. And he also has detox juices along with cold brew coffee. Make sure you use my promo code SIDELINE10 to save yourself 10% off on all your orders. I'll make sure to put the link down in the description below. And of course, I was your host, Alex Naveja, and with me today was former Santa Ana College long snapper Hector Aguayo, and of course, my cousin. Thank you so much for coming into the show, Hector. We appreciate it.
Yeah, no, thank you for having me, man. It's always a pleasure.
And it was always a pleasure to have you. Have a good one, everybody. Stay safe. And if you're not on the sideline, it's our Sideline Sports Podcast. Have a good one.